Hey, Adventure Riders. My name is Mark from Kiefer Moto. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about a subject near and dear to my, we'll forget that for a second. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to properly dispose of human waste for adventure riders. Okay, and really it's for adventure riders, but because that's what the theme of the channel is, but it could be for anybody, and I hope you learned something. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and we're going to be talking about some pretty interesting little topics here. So for solos, groups, and others, let's keep the route clean and clean. Unfortunately, let's try to help clean up after others as well. So anyways, this is going to be, we're going to have some fun because there's no reason why we can't have some fun with this one. So Leave No Trace, right? It's an international organization, and this is not a Leave No Trace lecture, if you will, or video, because I go one step further than Leave No Trace, but they are a great source of information if you want to learn how to take care of waste and litter and all sorts of different things in the backcountry. And they've been around forever, and I am a huge supporter of Leave No Trace. As a former park ranger for the Bureau of Land Management, seasonally for a couple seasons, I picked up a lot of stuff, a lot of nasty stuff out there, right? So I'm going to really give you the lessons that I've learned and what I practice, whether I'm on the mountain or riding the back roads of the desert or the mountains or wherever I'm at. Okay, I really want you guys to really understand why it's important. So, and they have free classes online. So there's a lot of really great stuff. Go to their website, Leave No Trace. Just Google it, and you can figure out what level you want to participate in. So, key misconceptions. Okay, and I really want you guys to get this stuff done. Understand this stuff. There's a poor understanding between what is dissolvable and what is biodegradable. They're kind of both the same, but then they're not. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. A misconception that any paper will do. If you use paper products when you go to the bathroom in the backcountry, no easy way to talk about this stuff, but I really want you to understand this stuff. No, any paper will not do is the point. Weather can get rid of waste over a long time, possibly, especially in the desert, because the desert is a poop museum, right? If you walk anywhere in the desert, in the sagebrush, you're going to look and you're going to look down and you're going to go, oh, there's a poop. And then there's a different type of poop. And there's a pellet poop. And there's Triceratops poop. I mean, there's poop everywhere because it just doesn't go away because of the nature of the desert environment. So waste and paper will just magically disappear. No, it won't. It will especially in the desert, will stay around for years, if not decades. Okay, if you put things on the surface of the earth. Okay, it's absolutely the truth. So dissolvable versus biodegradable, what everybody needs to know is there is toilet paper, which we're going to present to you in a couple slides, that is dissolvable. All right, it's a fast dissolved toilet paper used for RVs and things, and basically with portable tanks, if you will. Biodegradable is a little bit different. In order for something to be biodegradable, you need a lot of water and you need microbes. And there's a big difference between toilet paper that is designed and engineered for septic systems and sewer systems, like you have in the urban area, as opposed to what is acceptable to use in the backcountry if you have to dig a hole and get rid of some waste. Okay, I want you to understand, and I want you to get this, if you possibly can, understand the difference between dissolvable versus biodegradable. Not everything is dissolvable. Not everything is biodegradable. Okay, because sometimes it takes a long, long, long time. So the process, okay, we're gonna start right off with the process. We're going to talk about a lot of different things here. The solo rider, okay, you're a solo hiker, you're a solo rider. All right, first thing you want to do, you wake up in the morning and it's time to do an earth deposit. You go to dig a pit at least 200 feet away from any water source. Very, very, very important. You dig at least 6 to 8 inches, a 6 to 8 inch deep hole, okay? And it can be, it's not like you have to have a measuring stick or something like that. You gotta figure it out, right? Make your earth deposit, preferably pack out your paper products, but if not, and a reason why I say that is because Leave No Trace recommends that you pack out your paper products. And I understand that, and I do that as well, 99, 9/10% of the time, but it's unrealistic because I think a lot of people will not do that. So I'm going to cover both bases here. Okay. So just by evidence of being in dispersed campsites and seeing what's out there, and you can look around and see for yourself as well. So preferably pack it out, but if not, once you put your earth deposit and your paper products in the hole, you want to apply a little water from any source. Okay, apply a little water. We're going to get to what kind of toilet paper to use here in a second, but I want you to understand the process. Apply a little water, especially if you're in the desert. Okay, especially if you're in the desert, because it's very, very important for the microbes and the moisture to mix together. Okay. Cover the hole with dirt. All right. Now you're only 50% done. Okay. You just don't kick the dirt over and go, all right, very good. It's done. It's done and everything. You need to dress the pit. Okay. Dress the pit by collecting local debris and cover the hole with debris, disguising the hole from critters and others. So your team members don't come over and go, oh, wow, this is a cool spot, and dig up your earth deposit, right? It has happened. All right. So anyway, I want you to understand at least this part first solo. If you're in a group of more than two, okay? You're just in a group. Instead of going out and doing, 12 different pits out there, the best option for you guys to do is to dig a trench. Okay, dig a trench, approximately 1 foot per person, 6 to 8 inches deep. If you can dig deeper, you can actually, if you're going to stay there for a while, you can do a couple layers, right? You can do, bottom layer and a top layer and things like that. Do your earth deposit and cover with dirt. Like I mentioned, you can do possibly 2 layers. Cover the trench with dirt, and then you want to dress the trench. Cover with local debris to disguise the trench from critters and others from redigging the hole. Okay, so very, very important. We talked about solo, we talked about group riders, and if we need to go over it, we'll definitely go over it again. But I really want you guys to understand that. Why am I doing this for adventure riders? Because we have the opportunity, we're riding motorcycles, right? We have the opportunity to either take the time to bury some waste that's out there and clean up some of these sites, all right, which helps everybody and helps everything and everybody, but also to be able to pack out some garbage too if we get the opportunity to. And I implore you, really, really, really do, to pack out as much litter as possible. I mean, I've seen some horrendous sites, really awesome campsites, and people come in and just trash their stuff. And in fire pits and all that sort of stuff. And don't think that you can burn any of this stuff and that's a good option. It is not a good option. These are what we call trail flowers, and I know a lot of you guys have seen these. They're everywhere. That anywhere you're in, the wilderness areas, you're in the middle of the desert, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and you look down and there's a trail flower, stuff like that. This is because there's a misconception and a misunderstanding between what is dissolvable, what is biodegradable, what it takes to be biodegradable and dissolvable. Okay, this piece of toilet paper right here will most likely be, unless conditions are perfect, will probably be here next year. And there's hundreds of them over and over and over and over again. People will litter their paper, whether urination or whether, blowing their nose or anything, and it'll be gone in a while. It will not be gone in a while. All right, it stays there for a long, long time. So what do you do here? I took this piece of paper. I had a doggy. I was on a dog walk, so I had some doggy bags, and I picked it up with a doggy bag. I put it in, and I threw it in my garbage when I got home. Okay, so let's clean up after ourselves. So dispersed camping site waste trails. You've seen those. You pull into a campsite. Some of them are kind of difficult to get into. Which is kind of cool with motorcycles, stuff like that. You're next to a river, or a creek or something like that. And then you find these little trails that go off the campsite, right? And that's where people are going to the bathroom, right? And then there's multiple paper on the ground, open waste deposits. People are just, having earth deposits right on the surface of the earth, and then, dug up by critters. Critters love to dig up paper and play flag football with it or something. I don't know. But, this is what happens, especially near rivers and creeks. You need to go far away from the rivers and creeks if you're ever going to dig a hole in order to go to the bathroom, if that's what you need to do. What can adventure riders do to clean up our environment? We all need to take a part in it, and I really, really want everybody from around the world that are on motorcycles and enjoy the backcountry, because we as human beings are invasive. Motorcycles are invasive depending on what we do with it. Okay, so let's do our part to leave an area better than what we arrived at. Okay, let's help clean up. So carry small camping shovel, and they make some really cool ones that weigh practically nothing, or use a tent stake, I'll show you here in a minute, and bury any surface waste found at your campsite. Okay, if you don't want to pack it out, bury it, and then dress the pit. Carry any extra garbage bags, dog poop bags, exam gloves, whatever, to pack out waste products, litter, and so forth. Okay, it's very important. And doggy bags, they come in a roll. You get like 25 of them or whatever, and they weigh nothing. So doggy bags work pretty good. Properly dispose of you and your team's waste, but using leave no trace and beyond techniques. Okay, so even go a little bit beyond what they recommend, and which I am presenting to you today. Disposing of waste in the desert, if you leave it on the surface, it can last for years, if not decades. Do you know that any garbage that you see in the desert, all right, on BLM land, on public land, that's over 30 years old is actually archaeological? So you're not supposed to clean it up. Not to say the paper is, but I mean cans and things like that. So anyway, just a little note there. Extra care to bury and disguise all waste pits to assure critters will not dig it up, because they will. They absolutely will. Keep far away from any water sources, because in the desert, water sources are very valuable to not only wildlife, but all who need it. All right, is this a good paper to use in the backcountry? This is the best stuff ever, right? I mean, it is nice. It is great, and bears don't use it. But I mean, I'm telling you, it is absolutely, it's great stuff, okay? But the answer is no, absolutely not. This toilet paper is engineered, yep, and I mean engineered, to be used in a septic system or a sewer system, not in the backcountry, especially on the surface of the earth in the backcountry. Okay, so the answer is no. What should you carry? RV dissolvable toilet paper, rapid dissolve. You can get it at Walmart. You can get a bunch of it. You might have to carry an extra roll because they're kind of small rolls, if you will. But please, please, please carry that. It's the only toilet paper that you should be using in the backcountry is RV dissolvable toilet paper. And I mean that, and it's absolutely the truth. And please throw away everything else. And, you know, you're talking, well, what about a bandana? Well, okay, in an emergency, as long as you bury it appropriately, okay? Unless you want to see a coyote wearing your bandana around, you know, anything like that. But RV dissolvable toilet paper is the only thing, because if it gets wet, it will dissolve, right? Takes a lot less to biodegrade than it does any of the other engineered toilet paper that is used for septic systems and sewer systems. Gloves, soap, hand sanitizer, makes sense. Plastic Ziploc bags. You know, we live in, I mean, how great is that stuff, right? Plastic, just grab a couple plastic Ziploc bags. You know, if you're in the snow and things like that, don't bury things in the snow. Pack it out. Pack it out, pack it out. And dude wipes. I'm sure they work for dudettes as well. But dude wipes will save your keister more than once. All right, it definitely helps with hygiene and all sorts of other things that I'm sure you guys are aware of. So this is Scott. It's made for RV and boats. Okay, it's textured. It's basic stuff, but it's rapid dissolve, and it's designed to go in water and dissolve so it doesn't clog your RV system, okay? Very, very important. If you are in a large group, there's no reason why someone, the guy with the GS 1250 or 1300, can't carry a shovel, okay? A small military, ex-military shovel. They make smaller ones, and this is the only one that I had. But they make smaller ones. If you don't want to carry a shovel, solo-wise, you can use tent stakes, and I'll show you that. So dude wipes, by far the best thing. You need to pack these out because they're not, they say they're flushable, but they're not, really, and they're very thick, and they're not very biodegradable. Okay, they say they're made by plants and things like that, but they're hefty. Please pack them out, please pack them out. On the right, I opened up my kit, and I've got some RV toilet paper over here. Then I've got a wet wipe. This is a particular one, like for a shower or something. But I've got wilderness wipes, which work just as good. You know, when I'm going solo, I won't take the big thing of dude wipes. So one package of these dude wipes will treat the whole group, or pretty much the whole BDR, if you're going to do a BDR or something like that. Extra garbage bags, Ziploc bags to pack things out. And I use an old snow tent stake. You can get a deuce trowel, but tent stakes work just fine too. And if you ever need an extra tent stake for your tent or whatever, you got one, right? So they work just as good, if not better. So dig your pit, okay? Dig your pit at least 200 feet away from any water source. We're gonna go over this again. Dig your pit, okay? How do you do that? Well away from your campsite, and use your a tent stake or deuce trowel, or if you're in a big group, carry a shovel. But these work just as fine. And remember, 200 feet away from campsites and water sources. There's an example of a pit. Yeah, for a brontosaurus. But anyways, you make your earth deposit and preferably pack it out, right? That's the best way of doing it, and your paper products. But if you need to bury something, okay, if you need to, add a little water. Any source will do. You know, urine, a little water, just a little water, you know, a capful, 2 or 3 capfuls of water would go a long way, helping that particular material dissolve and biodegrade over time under the surface of the water. So under the surface of the earth, okay? So dress the pit, all right? Dress the pit. That's kind of the way I describe it, right? But you want to take sticks and stones or whatever local debris you have around there and cover your hole so nobody else goes through there. And, and there's, some suggestions where you can take some sticks and make, an X, with some sticks so others will know not to dig there. So let's keep our camping areas clean of litter, human waste. Help in cleaning up by burying waste, even if it's not yours, please. Okay? Or pack out garbage, grab an extra garbage bag, and let's start cleaning up some of these sites, okay? Because it's very possible there may be hundreds of motorcyclists on the Washington BDR, or the Oregon BDR, or the Montana BDR, or the Arkansas BDR, or any of them, all right? Or any of the routes or any of the backcountry stuff. There's an epidemic of beer cans that are just being thrown out on back roads, okay, and Forest Service roads and things and I don't know why. So, and I've picked up thousands and thousands of them, and they're worth 10 cents a piece. So if you get the opportunity to pack out some cans, pack out some garbage, please do so. Be friendly to the environment. I know you guys all are. And one thing I can say about at least every adventure motorcyclist that I've met has been a really super cool person, very friendly, and I really want to give back and help out because we all appreciate it, right? So here's one of my camps over last winter, and I want to keep it clean. So I walk around every time I do a camp. I walk around, I pick up garbage, and I pack it out every single time. So thank you very much from Keith Remoto. My name's Mark. Please subscribe. Share the video. I guess I don't know a lot about YouTube just yet, but I might pay for a little more advertising or whatever. But if you get the chance, just mention it to someone. Say, hey, go check out Keith Remoto and leave some comments. I'm not that great at this. I'm just starting. So I would appreciate any feedback that you have to offer. You guys take care. All right. And happy riding. I'm heading out in a day or two and for a couple days. So I'm really super psyched about that. So you guys take care.